everybody, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different to what I normally do. I've got a couple of hours off spare before work. I've just given the car a good clean, as you can see behind me, trying to keep that winter grime off the paintwork. But today what I want to talk about is, if I owned a Mark II Focus RS, what would my dream build be? How would I build that car? And that's what we're gonna discuss and go from the ground up, taking a little bit of inspiration from Dan AYP. I think he calls them backseat builds, so massive shout out Dan, go and check him out if you don't know who he is. But I'm definitely using a little bit of inspiration from Dan today. So, Mark II Focus RS. The Mark II Focus RS came in three colour options. They came in white, they came in Imperial Performance Blue, or Imperial Blue, Performance Blue, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, and they came in the Ultimate Green. Now, when it was released, way back when, I think it was 2009, 2010 time, the Ultimate Green was a bold colour. And it wasn't well received, in my opinion. It wasn't really well received as well. And I was one of these people that kind of thought, what the hell is that colour? But doing a little bit of research, and something that I didn't know at the time of the release, was the colour Ultimate Green was released because the World Rally Championship car, the Ford Works car, they were paired up with a sponsor of BP, and their colour is obviously green, and that's where the Ultimate Green came from. I'll insert a picture of the rally car now here in action, and the few other bits and pieces of the cars in the three different colours. Now, this Ultimate Green colour, like I say, it wasn't well received. It got a lot of hate, and I was one of these people that gave it hate. But I'm kind of eating my words, because I think the colours age well with all the crazy colours that come out these days on hot hatchbacks. That's a colour, if I bought one, if I was to go out and look for a Mark II Focus RS to buy, it would have to be in Ultimate Green. I wouldn't have it in the white, and I wouldn't have it in the blue. Now, I always said that the blue was the best colour. Anyone that knows me, I've always said the blue is the best colour for the Mark II Focus RS, and I stand by it. Is probably the most traditional colour, with it being very similar to the Mark I Focus RS. But the Mark II Focus RS, I think the Ultimate Green is the colour to have. Now, the white just kind of never really did it for me. It was a bit transit van white. I do love a transit van, don't get me wrong, and I love a white transit van, but I just don't think the colour kind of looked right on the Mark II Focus RS. I think if it was more of a pearlescent white, maybe it'd have looked better, but the blue one was initially the one that I always thought I'd want. But the green one, the Ultimate Green, if I could find one, is the colour I'd personally go for. And I think, looking at prices of them now, the Ultimate Green ones tend to be a little bit more expensive, which leads me to believe they are the more desirable colour out there within the cars that are out there for sale. So that's the one we go for. We pick the car, we've now got to build it. So we've got a Mark II Focus RS in Ultimate Green. Just like Dan does with his builds, then we'll start from the ground up. We'll start with suspension. So suspension wise then, something that I definitely would do, because these cars, you know, they're getting on now out there, they're getting to 10 to 11 years old, so I would look to upgrade all the suspension components, all the suspension bushes, for some Powerflex polyurethane bushes. That would definitely stiffen up the car a little bit, and it would give me some longevity in the car as well. Like I say, this car is something that I'd like to use to do road trips around the world, and I'd like to do things like NC 500. But what this car's not going to be, or what my ultimate build wouldn't be, is a track ready, track focused, time attack style Focus RS. That's not the route I'd go down with mine. I'd build a fast road car that's capable of going on the track. So I'd upgrade all my bushes to Powerflex for longevity, like I said. I would then look to upgrade the suspension to some Bilstein B16 coilovers. I wouldn't want to slam the car into the ground, because I want it to be comfortable. And the Bilstein B16 coilovers give you enough adjustability for your ride height, your damping, your camber and all them type of things that would help me have the car set up to how I want it, to have it comfortable on a long journey, to setting it up so it can set in a blistering time around the track. So that's the route I'd go down with this suspension. Powerflex polyurethane bushes along with some Bilstein B16s coilovers. So wheels then. So wheels, I actually happen to think that the standard Mark II Focus RS wheel suit the car very well. I think they're a really contrasting wheel and I think they do look well. But that said, we're in this game for a bit of our own flavour and a little bit of our own touch, so we would look to kind of swap them out, but I would keep them tucked away in the garage, nice and covered up, just in case I fancy going for that little OEM look and putting them back on. So I would look to change the wheels. Now, me thinking in what I'd do, I'd stick with the 19s. Now that might be a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people that build these cars actually put an 18-inch wheel on over a 19-inch wheel, and I'm presuming, well, the research I've done tells me that's for a bit of comfort and for a bigger, fatter tyre, a taller tyre on to give you comfort and a little bit of better handling. But so this is my car, it's my build, and I would go and I'd stick with a 19-inch wheel. There's only one brand I would go for, and that is Oz Racing, OZ Racing, Oz Racing, however you want to say it. That is the brand I would go for my ultimate Mark II Focus RS build. And there's two wheels, and I've looked at them and I've seen them on Ultimate Green Mark II Focus RS's, and I can't really make the decision on which wheel I would put on. So what I'll do is I'll insert a couple of pictures on the screen now and you tell me which one you will go for. So I put them on screen now. So the first wheel being the OZ Racing or Oz Racing Ultra Leggera wheel, and I think these are an absolutely beautiful wheel. Again, colour wise I'd look to Hyper Silver because I like that OEM stock look, or maybe I'd go for a bit of the grey wheel. Probably wouldn't go black because that's kind of what everybody does with these cars. They stick a set of black wheels on trying to contrast that colour down. I don't really want to do that. I want the look of the car to blend rather than contrasting that ultimate green colour down, if that's possible with such a bright colour. So that's the first wheel, the Ultra Leggera. The second wheel is, and to me this is the one that's a little bit more favourable, is the OZ Racing Super Turismo. My dad had a Celica GT4, an ST185 Celica GT4, and he had these wheels on that in Hyper Silver, and they looked absolutely stunning on that car, and I've no doubt they look absolutely. I've seen a Mark II Focus RS in Ultimate Green with these wheels on at a show last year before COVID. Last year I think it was at Ford Fair, and they looked absolutely stunning. Now the reason that I like these wheels for the car is because they have that element of the multi-spoke of the OEM style wheel, and they also, but they are an aftermarket wheel as well, and OZ Racing are an absolute phenomenal brand. So they're the two wheels, Ultimate Leggera and Super Turismo. Now what would we wrap them in? What would we wrap these wheels in? What tyres would we go for? Now I'd stick with the, like I said, stick with the 19, sorry, and I'd stick with that OEM kind of specification with tyre size. I will definitely stick to that tyre size. I think having driven a Mark II Focus RS, they handle very well. Ford have set them up from factory very well, and I wouldn't want to really change that much because this is my ultimate daily cruiser rather than my absolute Mark II Focus RS track weapon, if you get my gist. So I'd stick with that OEM factory size. Now, tyres. So this is where it becomes a little bit difficult, doesn't it? Because like I've said, I want a good all-round tyre, don't I? I want a tyre that is capable no matter the weather, because this car is my daily, would be my kind of my like second car, like my Sunday morning blast car. But I want to do road trips in it, track days in it. So I would need a good all-round tyre. So I would possibly opt for the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres. But if I was going for a specific track day, I would 100% take a second set of wheels on it, and if the weather was hot, if it was a hot day, I would stick on some Toyo R888s. These tyres have got absolutely phenomenal reviews. They're a semi-slick tyre. They can be used on the road. They are a road legal tyre. The wet reviews isn't great on them. The wet reviews isn't great at all. But the road, the dry, when they're up to temperature, they've got absolutely phenomenal reviews. So they're my two tyre options. Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. I think that's a good all-round tyre. It's a well-known tyre. That's good all-round. So then, let's talk engine. Let's talk turbos, exhaust systems, all the kind of good stuff that gets us car guys a bit excited, don't they? Now, first thing I'm going to say is my MK2 Focus RS would not have a pop and bang mac. I do not like them. I do not like pop and bang macs. They're not for me. I just don't like them. So I wouldn't have one. I would not have a pop and bang mac. But exhaust wise, I also wouldn't want it too loud. The 5-pot raw you can get from these Focus RSs and STs and the Volvo, because it's a Volvo engine, sounds phenomenal. Sounds absolutely phenomenal with their exhaust. I think if you get a straight pipe one, I don't like the sound. I think they're too noisy. And like I said, this car for me would be something that I can jump in, drive to the Nürburgring, be comfortable, get there, throw it around the Nürburgring and drive it back. It would be a distance type car, something I take on road trips, something I turn up in shows in. And I wouldn't want something deafening me on the motorway. So I'd go for some sort of Miltech resonated system, sports cat. I'd definitely go for like a sports cat. And I'd definitely go for a Miltech system, a resonated system, something that gives it a nice burble, but something that's not too loud. So that's the exhaust system sorted. Now engine bay. Let's talk about this 5-pot Volvo power unit. Let's talk about this. So that's the exhaust system sorted out. Now we'd look at engine wise. Now I wouldn't want this car to have like 500, 600, 700 horsepower. I want it to be usable. I want it to be a usable car that I can use on the road every day. So I'd probably look to go down. I'd definitely get the engine forged for safety, to make sure I was running good, safe, strong power. Get all the block mod things like that, get all that done. Definitely use like a Gates's timing belt and an OEM water pump and things like that. I'd upgrade the clutch, maybe a twin plate clutch, but I want this car comfortable to use on a long distance. So clutch is a big thing. I'd probably stick to the dual mass flywheel, even though they're a little bit weaker than a single, but I want it to be comfortable. Now engine wise, like I said, I'd get it fully forged. I'd upgrade the turbo. Now this is something that I've looked at. Now upgrading the turbo on these cars, there is kind of two ways you can go. Obviously you can go big turbo, which equals big power, or you can go hybrid turbo. And I think I would go hybrid turbo over a big turbo. Now I know you can get more power out of a big turbo, but with a big turbo comes, so I think I'd go for a hybrid unit over a big turbo, just so I didn't get that turbo lag. And the unit I'd probably go for is a Puma Speed hybrid phase 3 turbo. I've got it on my phone here, and it says on their website that it's capable of power up to 545 horsepower, which is a hell of a lot of power for a front wheel drive car. So that's definitely the route to go down. Intercooler wise, I guess there is only one brand these days, isn't the intercooler wise? They're out there, they've done absolutely phenomenal work, so I'd definitely go to an AirTech Motorsport. Probably a stage 3 intercooler, stage 4 maybe, to kind of future proof, to make sure that I'm running safe power. I'd go for that big, nice Group A cone induction kit with a big K&N induction kit on the end of it. I think aesthetically they look absolutely amazing under the bonnet of a Mark II Focus RS, so that's something I'd definitely do as well. Get the plenum, AirTech plenum on there as well, kind of tight, nice dress up the engine bay, upgrade all my hoses to silicone hoses. Again, I'd stick to the AirTech. They've definitely got these cars nailed down to the ground. They know what they're doing with these cars, so I'd go with them for the best. Engine build wise, where would I take it? There's two companies then that I would look to take my engine to get it built with. Puma Speed being one of them. Like I said, I'd probably look to use one of their hybrid turbos. But Collins Performance are out there for me as well. So my dad again had a Mark 1 Series 1 RS turbo, and this was tuned by Collins, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely one of the fastest Series 1 RS turbos in the Northwest. It was unreal. So that is Collins Performance or Puma Speed. I know they work quite closely anyway, so it'd be one, or if not both of them companies doing their own bit. So maybe get one to build it, one to tune it, or the other way around, or see what they can work on together. So, and like I said, I'd want anything from 400 to 500 brake horsepower. 500 is probably the limit for me. That's where I'd want to be with a car. I think if I'm going over 500, then probably pushing the car a little bit. Putting that power down on the road then, like I said, we've already spoke about wheels and tyres. Engine wise, I'd definitely be running a Quaife LSD. That's where I'd want to be with a car. Quaife, there might be better companies out there, but Quaife is the company I would use. Again, I know people that have used them in the past and they've had nothing but good things to say about Quaife, the LSD, so that is where I'd go for Quaife to put that power down on the road. So that's where we're up to so far. So we've done suspension, we've done the overall aspects of the car, we've done performance wise, 400-500 brake, we've done the gearbox, we've spoke about clutches. Where would we go next? So the interior of the car then. So the Mark II Focus RS interior from factory is absolutely stunning, if it's in the right specification. So the research I've done, and now correct me if I'm wrong because I might be, they came with different Lux packs. So Lux pack 1, I believe, got your half leather and Alcantara seats over the standard cloth where they were grey and green or blue depending on which colour you got. And Lux 1 got you the, like I say, the leather and the Alcantara, along as well as climate control, and then Lux 2 got you a fully integrated kind of sat-nav climate control unit as well as your Alcantara and your seats. Now, I don't like the standard seats, the grey and the green, or the grey and the blue cloth. I don't think they suit the car very well. I think, but the leather and the Alcantara seats look absolutely amazing. So I definitely want Lux Pack 1 with the leather and the Alcantara seats with that climate control. Now, I wouldn't want the factory sat nav. In 2009, 2010 when it was released, it was probably a very good system, but in the modern world it's a little bit dated, just because things have developed. I've looked to upgrade my head unit, probably to a Pioneer or a Kenwood, Apple CarPlay style unit where I can use Google Maps and things like that through the system. Like I say, this is going to be a daily driver, so I'd upgrade all my door speakers to the best sound I could. Maybe a slimline subwoofer in the boot, or an under seat subwoofer in the front of the car. Not so that I'm a big bass head, but just because I'd want the car to be comfortable. I'd want to be able to put some music on while I'm doing these long journeys to places like Germany, Italy, the Swiss Alps, going to do the NC 500. I want the car to be comfortable. I want it to be something I can enjoy driving. So I would want a nice Premier sound system in the car. So I think we're done, aren't we? Spoke about suspension components, wheels, tyres, what engine mods we'd do, what turbo we'd run, what clutch we'd run, exhaust systems. So yeah, I think we're done. So like I say, I've never done a video like this before, so if you've enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up. Message down below if you've enjoyed it. Do you want me to do another video where I talk about if I built a fully track Focus Mark II Focus RS, or would you want me to talk about what if I did kind of a dream build on a different car? So what about maybe if I did one on an Impreza STI hatchback, or a Focus ST, or Any other car you can think of, comment down below now, and I'll have a look at them and I'll see where we can go. Yeah, so comment down below any other car you'd like to see me talk about. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I sometimes throw up polls on there, so have a look on there. It's at FTLOC UK, FT UK. You'll see what I'm up to in between videos. Please remember, subscribe to the channel. We're on 160 subscribers as of this morning, so we are growing. I appreciate all the support. I hope you enjoyed this build. I hope it's not too hard for me to edit, and I hope I haven't just rambled on and talked rubbish, and I hope you've got an image of what my Mark II Focus RS ultimate build would look like and would sound like without its pop and bang map, which it might be a little bit controversial. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.